So we provide strategic support in the form of a CFO. So we take a high caliber CFO that would have worked for a large industry, just one business. And now we're putting them into a portfolio of clients. So they work for typically 3 or 4 clients on average per month. And we become their strategic CFO. So where you have a bookkeeper or a controller that's creating the financials, that's a great representation of what's already happened in the business. What our CFOs do is they are more about the future and the vision for the business. And they'll work with their clients to help create the vision and make it a reality. So it's more about the future. So your bookkeepers and your controllers are looking at what's right in front of their windshield. A CFO is looking, what's a mile down the road, what's around the corner, and how are we prepared for that out into the future. And that's what our CFOs do with their clients day in and day out. So I was working for a large multinational corporation overseas, and the CFO I was working with was a great strategic partner. She left the business to go back to our U.S. operations and take on a CFO role in a division in the U.S., and I had to replace her. And I didn't get that right. I replaced her with a controller, and it was immediately I realized I didn't get filling the position right, and I saw how it impacted our business. So you fast forward 10 years when I retired from that business and moved back to the U.S. A former colleague reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested in this type of work and in helping put a fractional CFO team together in South Florida at the time. And for me, it just seemed like a natural fit, just because of my experience in seeing the difference between what a strategic partner and a CFO could do for your business versus what a controller did. So for me to be able to walk a mile in that business owner's shoes and have empathy for what they're going through and not having access to that kind of talent in the strategic CFO, it was just an easy decision to go off and start this business. It's just rewarding. I mean, being able to serve the small business owner and knowing the challenges they go through, and being able to take an issue they're having within their business, have one of our CFOs be able to support them in getting through that challenge, and then seeing the end result, seeing a happier business owner, a thriving business, more time for themselves, more time for their family, more time for, just everything. So they're not just, living to work. And being able to bring that kind of strategic partner to a business or an owner-managed business really specifically, to me is what I enjoy seeing, because I had been in that spot at one time previously in a different career when, it's lonely at the top, you don't have anyone to talk to, and then you have a strategic partner and a CFO that you can collaborate with. So being able to bring that kind of support to the small business is very rewarding to me. Sure. So we have a client in Central Florida area, and they needed to get through an audit. Their bank needed some audited financials, and they also needed their bonding company needed some audited financials. And this business had grown very quickly. They went from $0 to $60 million in 4 years, and so they were a byproduct of their own growth. They had tremendous growth, but they didn't have the infrastructure to support it. So when the audit came around, they weren't prepared for it. So us coming in and putting a controller in place, our CFO working with the controller, us helping them select an audit partner, and then working with their tax partner as well, we were able to pull an entire audit together within 2 months' time for this business, and then be able to get an extension on their line of credit with the bank, because the bank was happy with what was going on internally with the business. So it really just was a great example of, hey, here's a high growth company, that's great, but a lot of people don't see what's going on behind the scenes and the pains that sometimes come with growth. And by us being able to go in there and help get that infrastructure in place that business is thriving now, and they've got, a sustainable business that they can grow, beyond 100 million in revenue, and then at some point be prepared to exit if they so choose. So we built the company to exit, and the audit was just kind of the start of the whole process. I think early on in my career, it was just thinking it's lonely at the top and you just have to deal with it. And over time, I realized that surrounding yourself with quality talent and quality people that like to be around and were supportive of me in my role, and me supporting them in their positions, really kind of opened my eyes to the fact that consulting or being an advisor is a good thing, because it helps you expose you to talent you maybe wouldn't have access to in a leadership position. So being able to just break down those walls and find strategic partners that I could have conversations with and process issues with, and really bring an outsider's perspective on my business and how to overcome challenges within the business. Yeah, I mean, I think, the story I would tell is the one I told about, the CFO that I had worked with, and she was a great partner. She wasn't my right-hand person, or, we were equals in my eyes. But I wasn't educated enough to really appreciate what she brought to the table until she was gone. When I figured it out is when she left, and I didn't replace her with the right type of talent. The person was good at their job, they just weren't good at being the CFO. So I think just really educating myself better was a lesson I learned there. But it was a hard lesson to learn, because a business that was doing this went like that because it's on me. I was the leader of the business, but it was because I didn't have that strategic support in a CFO that I needed to help keep the business moving like that. From what I can see is access to talent. We have some recruiters that are part of the C-Suite family of companies, and you've got a lot. I'm based in New York City, but I see this happening all over the country and even all over the world, and people that I know that live in other parts of the world. Is most people want some type of hybrid solution for work, and it works for some industries and not others. And we see that with all of our clients. But some companies are pushing back on that, and they just want a full-time in-office solution, and some are doing a hybrid solution. And then there's businesses that are completely hybrid. But I think just business owners really understanding what works for them. And once you understand what works best for you, it'll open the doors to the top talent that you need to run your business. So for me, it's the fractional model, or that gig worker, that fractional CFO, that fractional. You could do fractional almost anything these days. That's bringing talent in to businesses that they never realized was out there or had access to before. But when you need specific talent that's full time, especially in accounting and finance, it's a tough market out there to find those folks. And being able to open your mind to what works for your business is going to open the doors for the talent you need to run it and be successful at it as well. Yeah, I think that works for that. I mean, I can't think of anything else, because the talent crisis that's been going on for a while now has really created a bunch of challenges. So advice and tips would be, be open-minded to that gig worker. It's been around for over probably close to 20 years now. It started back in early 2007-8 when the not so great recession happened and hit the entire world, rocked it back on its heels. But then the pandemic happened, and it brought that gig worker into the forefront again. And now it's here to stay. Not only here to stay, but people are very open-minded to it, because it's a new way of working. And it allows businesses to access talent all over the world versus just, what's in your backyard and what's going to come to you. to your office. We work with, we're based in New York City, but we work with companies in California virtually. I've got colleagues in the UK that I speak to regularly, and they're part of my support team. So being able to just broaden, what once was to what the new world looks like, post-pandemic.